conversation around Doom is like pretty negative, and
Yep.
I don't get it. I've only played 8 missions. Am I wrong? Is that game actually bad?
Okay, let's talk about it.
Let's
So
just dive in.
I played all of it. I 100%ed most levels. I think that I feel very similarly to Doom as I do Clair Obscur, where with Clair Obscur, they took something I really like and I'm comfortable with, which is JRPGs. But then they put in this like actually very important timing mechanic. At first I was like, okay, this is a little weird. But then I played it a lot and I was like, oh, this fits and it's kind of fun. Like I like this. This is a medium I enjoy. I enjoy doing this and I have fun doing it. So I felt for all of 33. And frankly, that's how I felt with Doom. When I started with Doom, I'm like, oh, this is different. Like, you know, I can just hold right click and I block damage. There's a whole parry mechanic now. I'm doing this like side dodgy stuff, almost reminiscent of Returnal. Like it didn't feel like classic Doom, especially not Eternal. However, the more I played it, the more I was like, but this is awesome too. Like I found this Doom to be significantly easier than previous Dooms, even on Nightmare with lowest parry window. I didn't like get frustrated almost at all. I got very frustrated at parts of Eternal.
Especially the DLC.
I never got frustrated, even when I would die, and I definitely died multiple times in a few sections. It didn't really get to me as much because I was having so much fun with like the timing and the pairing and the, you know, at first I was a little not so jazzed about the fact that there are less gory fatalities. But then I also realized though that without having them, the flow of combat is much more consistent. And for a game where timing is so important, I can see why they'd want to do that. So you can still do fatalities, like if you jump up and you know, dash over to them with a shield and do that kind of stuff. But they're a lot more reduced in this one. Level design also was a lot more, I want to say old school, like a lot more arena-y.
It felt like old Doom, right?
It did. And I felt like they did that again to lean into the combat mechanics that they've established now. And the music, although not Mick Gordon, it was not Mick. You could tell it wasn't Mick.
Yeah.
I still found myself many times throughout this game fundamentally in Doom. Like music was wailing, combat was good, graphics were great. Like I you know, you're nailing the parries, like 100% Doom, and it felt great. So I have seen a lot of the feedback publicly. I've seen people straight up say like, oh, 6 out of 10, you know, didn't even finish it. I had a great time beginning to end. I mean, you could tell by the smile on my face the whole time.
Yeah.
It is very much a power fantasy. That's all it is. Like there are these action sequences, like with a mech suit and a dragon. They're very basic. It's not you know, it's you basic combos, fly here, you know, hold down some buttons, and although I do wish there was more depth to it, I wish those sections were more fleshed out. It does play directly into the power fantasy, and it does it so well. It makes it so you can focus more on just the ridiculous over the top stuff going on and less in like trying to nail a specific timings and stuff like that, which may have been what they were going for. Not everyone's cup of tea. You know, like I did say, I wish it was a little bit more complex and advanced and reactive maybe. But I feel like it did the job. Yeah. Those are kind of like my biggest complaints.
Yeah. Yeah. Dan, what were your thoughts on the old Doom? You both have finished.
Oh,
and
too
right?
expensive. I'm sorry, too expensive.
It's $80 is kind of a lot.
It's a little much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I finished it last night. I played on Nightmare as well, and I thought the difficulty was, exactly like way less frustrating than Eternal was. There were times I almost threw my keyboard in certain sections of Doom on the hardest difficulty. On Eternal, it was brutal. But I felt this game was real solid. Like I wasn't sure how the shield would play into Doom and still feel like Doom, but they found a way to make it work. And I give them mad props for making 3 different modern Doom games and like having 3 different gameplay styles where they focus on different aspects of each game. Like Eternal and 2016 are closer to each other than this one is. This one's a little more divergent, but they still like each have like their own identity. And I respect that they were able to make each of them feel really fun and be so different from each other. But I just had myself feeling it was just a great time the whole time. I didn't really have any complaints about it. The mech and the dragon sections, I feel like could have had more, more enemies, a little more combos and stuff. But it was just like a a break from the regular gameplay, which I enjoy because you just needed that little break from hallways and killing demons, and it was just like a nice, refreshing. Like, almost take a few minutes and just do something different for a little while, and then go back to doing Doom. And I thought the flow of combat felt really good. You didn't have to just constantly run away. You could like go up into melee with something and like stand there and just parry, and that was super fun to me. Like to go up to a Hell Knight and just like throw his shit back at him and then shoot him in the face constantly and then rip his arm off and beat him. Like it was great. I thought that it was so different from the other ones where you just have to keep running away from bullets. You can actually go up into next to him and like take him on one by one, which felt cool. But saying that, like, I think that the shield is like a good for this game, but I hope they don't like keep doing that for every other Doom. I like that they did this as like a one-off, trying something new, doing a twist on the formula, but not making this the whole new formula. I thought it was like a nice like spin-off, and like we're trying something different, and I just had a great time with it. I didn't really have any complaints about it.
Yeah, the one thing, and I'm only about like halfway through the story, I would say. On like mission, I don't know, 8 out of 20 or 22 or however many there are. And so I don't know if this changes throughout the game. Please weigh in on if it does. I never like, during the combat, it was whatever gun I have, it's just because my other ones have run out of ammo. And so I'm just going to keep left clicking until it goes to another gun. And like, I never like worked because I was using the shield so much, or I was charging so much that it was never like, oh, I need this gun to kill this creature. It was just like, I need bullets of some type to put into this dude in front of me. And I kind of enjoyed that, especially after Eternal, where Eternal was so focused on like, to kill this certain mob, you need to do this certain thing at this certain point, like shooting a grenade into the cacodemons, or I forget all the other like mob-specific weapon choices. But that's how you succeeded on like the hardest difficulties, was doing all of those, like matching the weapons. Yeah, doing the dance, as it were, of Doom. That's a great way to put it. The dance of Doom.
Dance of Doom.
And I did
this
love
time
all the new weapons.
Yeah, I enjoyed all the weapons as well.
Felt great.
Yeah.
Mostly like in previous Dooms, I'd have like a weapon I liked more than everything else, but I kept finding myself liking all the weapons and like keep switching from one to the other because they were so good and fun. Like the crossbow, like sniper, the ball, you just throw it at someone's face and charge, like just great stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It was at least so far, it's the type of thing where like it's more mindless, but in like a good way. Like you just kill things and things explode, and then you dash at like light speed at something and everything explodes around you. Or you like drop down from, more than, I don't know, whatever the threshold is, 10 feet, and it slams down on the ground and everything explodes around you. Just doing things like that is like, yeah, that captures like what Doom is to me.
Dude, just running around on foot felt like walking in a mech in some other games.
Yeah.
Like just walking around in the suit was very reminiscent of like Titanfall multiplayer, when you were like moving quickly and stuff. Like it felt really good. They did a very good job with that. And the sounds and the way that they did like the armor movement, and it was very good.
Yeah.
It was great stuff.
Yeah.
I just love how he like slammed the hell out of climbing up cliffs. He just bam,
yeah,
bam,
he like slams his hand in. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good stuff. Zeke, this is one of those things, by the way, I think you would like this Doom. I think there's enough like melee and less focus on aim that you would be.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, like, what is the percentage of ranged to melee, like guns to melee? Like, can you just use melee the whole time, or do you have to use guns?
Not really. I mean, you could just shield charge repeatedly, but and there is an entire melee system where you get to like pick a weapon and upgrade it, and that part's awesome. But you still generally need to charge that system up, which involves but there are like some really easy to use range weapons, and then you can kind of spec into them. So like one of them is literally a giant spray in front of you, and as you hit enemies, you start gaining the stuff for melee. So you could kind of use that to charge your melee, and then do a whole thing with that if you wanted to. There's options. I don't think you can go full melee.
Yeah. Well, that that was my the original question I asked. Do you have to actually start using weapons in Eternal against certain mobs, or does that not matter in the long run towards the end of the game?
I remember like you
There-
would find that like one weapon would be much easier against a certain enemy than others, and like, you'd have to
Yes.
like switch in those situations.
Okay.
There was not like many rock, paper, scissors stuff.
Yeah.
But there were definitely some enemies where it's like these enemies are significantly easier to parry, kill than to wear down with guns. There's particular enemies where it's like it's much easier to get near them because then they have super easy to parry attacks you can do, and you stay at range. They have homing missiles and shit. So it's it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
One cool thing you can do, Zeke, is throw your shield at an enemy and it'll just stand there stunned, so you can just shoot at it. Your shield will stick into it and it'll stand in
It
one
just
place.
sits
and
there
you just blow it up.
grinding into them
Yeah.
like a chainsaw, and they just stand there. So you can just walk up and punch them in the face.
Yeah. We'll do some.
Oh, so it's not like Captain America where it like bounces off and comes back to you.
No, it is. That also happens.
Sometimes
Oh,
it can.
it is?
Yeah, that happens too.
Yeah.
They have a
Oh,
lot of
it
fun
is.
with that shield.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw this, by the way. A company made an actual motorized real version of that shield.
I saw a
With a
YouTube video.
spinning blade and
That's
everything.
awesome.
It's
Yeah,
like,
talking about
oh,
that. Yeah. I also saw. Did you see the full cosplay suit? It was a female YouTuber made it, and
Ooh.
she was walking around, and then she gave it to, I think, her assistant, who's like a massive Doom fan. But it was like
man, how cool!
it was like a full size, like 8-foot Doom guy with fake muscles and everything. It looked fucking cool.
very cool.
You'll probably see it at some conventions and photos in the future, but yeah, I felt like it's fine. I'm gonna go back and definitely finish it. I enjoyed the secrets. I also enjoyed that they like show you where the secrets are on the mini map to be
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
there's something around here, figure it out. And so
It's
like
very easy to 100%. No
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. They even have
In my-
the icons for point of no return, which is super handy.
yes,
So like if you come up to a drop down, the waypoint is a different icon to indicate if you go this way, you cannot go back. And it's like, damn, dude, here we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
In,
Doesn't always
in my
work,
old
but
age,
almost perfect.
in my old age, I don't want to like scour every inch of the map trying to find the collectible I missed. I appreciate them just saying it's here, find how to get there, and I'm just like, it saves me so much time.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely agreed. So, I thought the life sigil thing was good as well. Does that like? I don't know why they put the life sigil thing in. It feels like it was put in so that it doesn't stop the flow of doom when you die, but they're like hidden, so it kind of rewards exploration.
Mhm.
I don't know if that system's good or bad. It just is a thing.
It's just, it seemed to, you explore a little more, you get a little bit easier of a fight. It's like a little reward.
Yeah.
For people that wanted to go out of their way a bit more.
Yeah.
It didn't feel too OP or underpowered.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zeke, what were you gonna say?
I would just be curious to see how many people would, throughout playing games, would turn on or off if it was an option to find like the secret items. Like, Dan was saying, like, just tell me where it is and I'll go find it. Make it hard to get to or something, whatever. But like, how many people would turn that off? Like, do you like it better not knowing where the shit is, or would you rather know where it is and just have a challenge to get to it? I personally would have the latter. Like, I would love a challenge to get to it, but know where I'm going.
Totally depends on the game, really. Like if I like a game like Doom, I'm not really playing that for collectibles and things of that nature. They're fun to get and everything, but I feel like it doesn't showcase the best part of the game. So in a case like this, I think it's great that it just shows you where the stuff is. That's awesome. But if you're playing a game like Outward or an RPG or something, the less you know, the better. And a lot of other genres and games work that way too. But yeah, I'd say it kind of depends per project.
Yeah.
Like Elden Ring, it feels really good when you accidentally discover like a fog wall and there's no clue that it's there.
Absolutely.
That is
But
true.
Doom,
That's
you want to
true.
go fast, and you like secrets like slow you down, so you want to get back to killing stuff quickly.
Yeah.
No, you make a good point with the Elden Ring thing. It's that, like, the joy of discovery in that was amazing. I loved it. I loved like coming upon a boss that I didn't even know that's optional, didn't even know was there.
A whole
I went
dungeon.
around a corner and there it was. Yeah, exactly. But like, I just Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Yes.
They just put everything on the map for you.
Yep.
It's a collectathon.
That's
But
exactly
that
how
feels,
this game is in a lot of ways.
Feels right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm watching.
Collectathon, I like that. Yeah.
I'm watching you fight in this VOD that we have up in the video version of the show. Every time a shield guy goes on the screen, I see there's this kind of like, oh god, I gotta deal with that guy. I felt the shield guys were the worst mobs to fight. Is that true?
Are you talking about the bosses?
No, just any mobs with the shield in front of them where you have to either blow up the energy shield or shoot the like shielded guy, because if you don't, you're gonna take a shit.
So those guys are the only kind of real rock paper scissory dudes. The heat up shield guys and the plasma shield guys. But especially towards the end of the game, once your guns are upgraded, you're killing them so quickly that they go from threat to boon.
Okay.
Because they generally explode into armor and power ups. The energy shield guys actually do damage when they go out. So definitely, I would advise to people, especially on Nightmare, make sure one of your machine guns and one of your plasma weapons, pick your favorite, and then upgrade that all the way, and just get used to switching between them fast for those moments. What I would normally do is have a plasma, the heater, and then whatever my favorite gun was at the time, and I would bounce between those 3 weapons. And if I wasn't doing a shield of one of the types, I was on whatever gun was the flavor of the moment.
Got it. Okay.
That seemed to work great.
Yeah. The
I saw that a lot in chat.
Yes.
People were talking about like I went through the entire game using only the super shotgun or whatever. Like
You can do that too. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of it just comes down to like, do you have the ammo for that weapon at that particular time?
Mhm.
Which is for me like where
yeah.
it would just auto cycle through weapons if I was out of ammo, and I never once felt like, man, I wish I wasn't using this gun at this point in the game, which is kind of a win, but also maybe a negative depending on how you look at it. If you're wanting that, kind of like how Eternal had that, where people had their favorite guns, this is just like every gun seems fun, and that's great. I think that for me that is a win. So
Yeah, one of my favorite guns was the sniper, the spike sniper that was the number 2. The second
yeah.
number 2.
yeah,
And like if you just get up in melee range, parry, and then melee attack, you get full ammo back every time you do one of those a melee attacks. So I could just keep that ammo going the whole time and just never run out. It was great for bosses and stuff, so I could just keep myself top off. Just like if you parry a couple attacks, it charges your melee meter really quickly. So you could just keep whatever ammo you like the most. You just keep getting it back if you really enjoy one weapon over the others.
yeah.
And here I am having basically never used that gun. So it's like different ways to play.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
There were a couple guns that I tried a few times and I was just like, nah, just kind of moved on.
Yeah.
And some you fall in love with, but yeah, lots of good options.
I think that's the sign of a good FPS, in my opinion. The bosses that I've played, I enjoyed. The other Dooms have always had a pretty rage-inducing final boss. Just thumbs up, not getting into who it is, what it is, how it goes. Did they do a better job this time around? Is the finale of the game like... Maybe you guys didn't have the same issues I had with the other bosses in Doom 2016 and Eternal, where I think in Eternal, I ended up turning it on to the easiest difficulty to just get it over with.
In Eternal, I didn't like the bosses. In this one, I didn't mind them. We'll put it
Okay.
that way.
All right.
I didn't have any, like, I certainly remember dying a bunch of times to the end boss, but I was never frustrated.
You never
Like,
got
it was
upset
always
with it?
it was always because of me. Yeah, you kind of, it's, it's a learned thing. So yeah, no, I didn't have any issues. I didn't feel that rage really at all. Like maybe 1 or 2 times because I did something dumb, like blasted a rocket in someone's face or something, but it was not like Eternal. I had multiple sections in Eternal where I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Especially if you get like right to the end and there's like a guy or 2 left and it was a great run you've tried 20 times before and you die to something stupid. I was just like, ugh. But no, none of that really in this one.
Okay.
It was a significantly easier experience all around in a good way.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to do the thing where if they end up doing DLC for this game, where they tune the difficulty of the DLC like all the way to 11, kind of like what they did with Eternal. I felt where base Eternal was
Probably
pretty difficult. Then the DLC came out and it was just a different beast on Nightmare. Frustratingly so, but a good type of frustration, I guess, not to make people shy away from it that have not played it from doing so. So
For sure.
yeah, all in all, I think it's fine. To go back to how we kind of started the conversation, I was surprised to see and maybe that's just games and game conversation these days is focus on the negative. But I did see negative all around this game.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's
Same.
important to classify it as that most of the negative was like, yeah, it's not Eternal, it's not 2016, but it's still good. I
Yeah.
saw a lot of that.
Nowadays, like even Expedition 33 was getting a lot of hate, but it's just like it was one of the best games I ever played. I just don't get like some people just hear from someone that the game's bad and they just
Well,
run with it, never actually play it themselves.
I think this is a really good example of a developer taking a risk. I mean, they changed a lot of ways the basic loop of Doom with this. I mean, so it is a very different thing. And I think what we're seeing is anytime a developer takes a risk like this, there's going to be members of the fan base that simply liked it better the other way. And I think that's what we're seeing. I think we're seeing a lot of people that are like, this Doom is fine. I liked the other ones better. So I obviously rate it lower than those. And it's, you know, and it's their preference. So I think if you like this direction, if you're into that kind of stuff, again, just perfect example like Expedition 33, you like that parry mechanic, like that's for you. You're gonna love this. But if you prefer that old school guns only kind of approach, like this, it could be a big turnoff for you.
Sure.
And the melee is the core mechanic of this game. So,
It really is. Yeah.
Did you miss the difficulty or no?
I think the difficulty in this was great. I think it was great. I think it was difficult. It was difficult enough to get my blood pumping, but it was not so difficult that I was raging. And that's awesome. That's a very happy medium for me. So yeah, I enjoyed the difficulty.
Yeah.
The last
Do
few
you think
levels were
there's-
definitely much tougher than the first half. Like they really ramped up the difficulty toward the end of the game. The beginning of the game was pretty easy. I didn't really have much struggle at all.
Yeah, I like Crumpsy in chat. Difficult but not inaccessible. Yeah, or unapproachable. A good way to say it too. Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm.
Do you think this game could use a like broken controller ultra nightmare difficulty?
That exists,
So
right?
what's kind of cool
It
is
does? Okay.
there's Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, and then I think True Nightmare or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
And
I
basically the
forget
way that it
names.
works, Nightmare is
You gotta work on those names,
it's
dude.
like 85% of the difficulty there. However, you can go into the options, and I actually, for instance, went to the options and I made it Nightmare, and then I lowered the parry window all the way to the smallest it could be. But I could have done more than that. I could have upped the game speed 50
Okay.
more %. I could have given the enemies more HP. I could have done less damage. So you can make
Okay,
the game
okay.
significantly harder. It's just their Nightmare level is at a really solid place. That's the part that I'm saying. So you can make it harder if you want to. And
I
then
see,
on top
I
of
see.
that, interestingly enough, the 2 extra difficulty modes I told you about don't actually adjust those values. They're the same difficulty as Nightmare mode, but the second one, the one right above it, you have a limited amount of total lives. Think like Super Mario Brothers 1. So you have like a lives, and if you run out of those, then your playthrough deletes. And then the ultra hardest mode, the top hard mode, is Nightmare with permadeath. You die one time, you're done. And that is the absolute hardest.
Yep.
And then all of those you could go in and edit to be even harder if you wanted to.
The game speed alone can make the game a lot harder. If everything's running 50% faster, that means you have to have much quicker reaction times and be moving much faster. So if you want a bigger challenge, you can up the game speed a lot.
So one thing that was interesting is and I don't know how this would work. Somebody told me the parry windows stay the same on speed up. I don't see how that would work since there's literally less frames, but I don't know. But they did say that apparently it wasn't a huge issue. Like it's not, it doesn't make it 50% harder to do them from what I understand. But I don't know how it wouldn't. But anyway.
Yeah, I saw a lot of streamers doing the increased game speed to like 120 to 150.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest, like right out of the gate after the first level, I already was tired of holding down shift. So I just immediately went into the options and found the auto run as fast as I could to where I never had to hit shift again to like run or sprint. And that helped a lot with the speed. But I might end up bumping it to like 120 or 150. Just to see how it handles and how it operates. It feels a lot better as soon as you're auto sprinting on everything. Without that, it does feel a little sluggish, a little slow. But yep, Zeke, any other questions, comments? We keep cutting you off, so I apologize.
No, that's totally fine. I mean, I guess I just want to know if it feels like Doom, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
In some ways,
okay.
like if you can get with the parry mechanic and stuff, it's a really cool iteration of Doom. You feel freaking you're a tank. Like, you know, it's very visceral. Very visceral. So
Yeah.
it's a good I think you may, like JP said, I think you may like it more in some ways.
Yeah.
No, I definitely it seems like I would like it more because, you know, it's more aggressive. You know, you can be more aggressive, you know.
Yes. And
Yep,
all the interviews that I saw, they use the language of like we wanted to make the Doom guy a tank. Like in Doom 2016, you were, you know, not you were aiming, and like aim was important. Eternal was more about movement and how you got around in the maps. And this one's just like, nope, I'm gonna charge right at that guy and just beat the shit out of him. And so that's kind of what they went for.
This one's more about like timing and positioning.
Yes.
Mhm.
So they're kind of like, they're just moving through the interesting like additional mechanics that can kind of go with the main loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting. I wonder if our next one's going to be like Doom Revolution or something.
Yeah. Who knows what they're gonna do? I really have
God.
no idea. Or if
Dancing
it's,
Doom guy.
it's the type of thing where like you can choose your way of wanting to play Doom, right? They've built these 3 different versions of Doom. Maybe you get a different suit.
Oh, dude, pick a class.
Yeah, where it's like
one
pick a
has
Doom
rockets on it for movement, one has like more ammo and a stronger gun, and the third has like a shield.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be cool.
Doom the
Like,
dating
shit.
sim.
Yeah.
Or Doom the
And you date demons. That's
You date
exactly
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that'd be that'd be a cool direction for them to take it.
Yeah. I'd be about
Like,
that.
so it's just like you make your own experience.
I'd be
How do you
about
want to play Doom? Here you go.
The other thing, and we're seeing it kind of here, you could definitely tell that the developers played Returnal and they were like,
Yes.
that's some good shit. We're gonna
I
take
was just gonna
we're
say
gonna
this.
take some of that
This
shit
balls
and
attack.
put it in our shit.
Yes.
Dude, and what's fun is
bullet hell sections for sure.
Yeah.
it feels real good when you nail, like when you're like running through dodging the red ones, you nail the green one, it goes in, stuns the guy, you charge him with a shield charge. Like it's feels good. Feels very good.
Yeah.
They clearly refined that loop well.
Yeah. They did a good job with it. So cool.
Not that anyone gives a shit. I'm sure there's not a lot of people who give a shit, but like, why? Or is it? Are you playing Doom Guy? Are you?
Yes.
What's like the plot?
It's a prequel.
Hmm?
It's a prequel
Okay.
to the Doom 2016 games. And the other thing, and it actually is a good point, a good talking point to jump into. Like, this one's pretty heavy on story. They have
Okay.
they have like characters that aren't just the Doom guy. That have full on cutscenes,
Like meaningful roles.
and meaningful roles, and I was a little.
Oh, please don't spoil it, chat. Well, I know it's Doom, but please don't spoil it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's.
I don't think I'd ever heard that before. Please
I know.
don't spoil Doom.
Don't spoil
Well,
Doom.
still, yeah. There's some fun parts, especially if you've been following along.
Yeah. It was a little strange. Like every once in a while, I would finish a level or a chapter, as they call it, and it would never like have a natural flow to the next cutscene. It always felt like I missed something going from
Yes.
the end of chapter 7 to the end of chapter 8, because I would be in a different area, or it would be a different person, or something. It just always felt like kind of disconnected.
There were weird cuts.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
one in particular, like he at the end of one scene, he's doing an action, and you can see in the background he's moving. Then in the other scene, he's just in a different place.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like, even people in chat were like, "Wait, how did he? What is this? Is it where? What happened?"
I thought my
And then
game
everyone's like, "If you looked in the background, there was a light. That was him." It's like, oh, okay.
I felt the story in
So
this
that
one
was
was
the-
like, I felt like the story in this one, it had the story I cared about more than any of the others, because it was like done pretty well, and then like it was more interesting than a lot of the other Doom stories. I didn't just want to like ignore it and just go right back to killing, even though that's what I did. But like you wanted to stop and just I'm like, oh, this is
Judge me by
trying to
my
tell a
words,
story.
not my
Oh,
actions.
yes, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was actually a decent story. I appreciate them trying. Like, I didn't really care too much. I just wanted to go kill the demons at the end. But at least they tried. It was better than some other
I
stories
love
they've
that.
tried.
It's like you give the pat on the head, like, "Hey,
Yeah,
you did
good job.
Good job. You tried."
Yeah.
Did basic
Now,
storytelling.
where's the continuity person? Are they taking the day off? What's going on?
Part of me, and I guess because of how it takes place in the timeline, I really enjoyed, I think it was 2016, and maybe they upped it in Eternal, when you would walk into a room and everyone would be like, oh my God, that's the fucking Doom guy. And this one, I would walk into a room and people like wouldn't notice that I was there, or they
It
would.
happens some at the beginning, which is
Okay.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like if you bust into some secret areas, they're like, don't get near him, stay back. Like stuff
Yeah.
like it. But it's in this game, it's not, they don't really revere him
Yes.
because everyone knows about him and he's like just their secret weapon. Like it's a bit of a like, they just don't want to die. They're all kind of worried about that.
Yeah.
A little bit more, it seems.
This is my favorite kill thing, by the way. That's metal as
heartburn
fuck.
kill.
That's an album cover for Metallica or something.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
I think I had that T-shirt in high school.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Their art team nailed that whole thing
Completely.
and the vibe of it. But
My God, yes, Returnal. Holy shit.
yeah, this is the
Yeah,
flight stuff.
yeah.
This is like Panzer
Wow.
Panzer Dragoon. I got a lot
Really
of Panzer
is.
Dragoon vibes.
Mhm.
But it did feel a little not
Little light.
clunky. Yeah, light is I
Light.
guess. Are you purposely dodging the wrong? Oh,
No,
you're
so I
learning the
wasn't-
process here.
This is the very first time I did this. I didn't at first I was only dodging. I thought I could dodge like at the corners. I didn't realize it was only 4 directions. So I was sitting there like, it can't be that basic, right?
I did
Like,
the
was
same
sitting there
thing
it's
for a
not
while
that-
there.
It's not that easy. And then I was like, wait, are you
Now you
serious?
got it.
And then it's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
That he
Like-
literally
Like-
just said, "Oh, okay," on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You got it.
I
We
gotcha.
get it.
We got it.
Yeah.
Took us a minute, but we got there.
Yeah. And then like it's kind of strange though, because you're trying to like free fly, but really you just right click as fast as you can through all this stuff
It's
and
a
it would
really,
lock on.
really basic mini game. This is what I
Yeah.
was talking about earlier when I was like, this is the power fantasy. It's super easy. You don't really have to think about it once you learn it. It's the same with the fighting sections with the mech stuff. Not too much of it. But just like Dan said, it kind of just breaks the pace up, breaks it up just enough. We fly around, do some of that, land on foot section, back on the dragon, do a few of those, back on. So it's nice for that. It does its job. These parts were a little weird, but I later realized that the only thing these do is lead you to the next section.
Yep.
It's the yellow paint of the dragon world.
Yeah.
So
I do love how they were like in the room, like, okay, we're gonna have Doom Guy riding a dragon, but what else? What else? Have the dragon breathe fire. Love it. Okay, we'll have that. What else? What else? Mount a minigun on its back. A couple of them. Fuck yeah, let's do it. I fucking love that.
Just doom
It's like,
it up.
did they
Oh, and
just
put him
hire
in-
teenage
put him in a
boys and, like-
Skyrim helmet.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it. Sure, cool.
Well, and then the final thing was like, the dragon's not looking doomy enough. Put a fucking scar on his right eye.
Yeah.
He's only got one eye because he's a badass. And they're like, all right, we're done. Next thing.
Oh, and dude, and his wings could be like in lasers.
He does have razor.
Oh, they can cut through stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at it.
Yeah.
Laser wings.
It's great. It's very much doomified on all of that. Oh yeah, then he's got like the Skyrim cloak. It looks like he's driving.
Yeah, the fur cape.
dude,
right.
That's boss. That's
The helmet
awesome.
and everything. So good.
Yeah, and then he does this. This was the Iron Man move. I felt. I got big Iron Man vibes here, where he just like locks in, and then just flies as fast as possible away. Yeah, they have some inspired cutscenes that look really badass. So I enjoyed it so far. I'm excited to finish it.
They were just having fun making this game. You can tell.
Yeah,
It was just
You can
a
tell.
Good time.
You can tell they just had a lot of fun. Yep.
for me,
Agreed.
the best way I can say it is I did a sponsored stream for this on Monday night. They're like, hey, you're gonna need to run it back on Thursday because something happened, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, great, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
I'll play some more Doom. I don't care. I'll have a smile on my face the entire time. It's a fantastic power fantasy that like it knows what it's doing and doesn't shy away from that. So
You will not be disappointed.
yeah. And it's out on
Okay.
Game Pass now. $80
How many
is pretty
hours?
steep.
$80 is pretty steep.
Yeah.
I agree.
How many
That's
hours
tough.
did it take you guys? I haven't finished it, so I don't want to say.
Oh, let me see.
I think it was
I
like 20
did-
for me.
I did mostly 100% stuff, and it was 16.5.
Okay.
And I got 80% on a few levels and 99 on a few levels and 100%.
I will say for the stuff
gamer.
for the stuff that you do miss, you don't have to replay the whole level. You just go to wherever you're wanting to get the stuff that you missed, get it, and then just leave the level. So for people that are like completionist, it's nice that you don't have to play through the whole thing again to get all that stuff.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
and to answer some questions in chat, not really a lot of replayability. There's
Yeah.
not really any reason to, which honestly is one of the reasons I feel like the price is a little much. And there's not a huge amount of secrets either. So still a really fun entry to the Doom franchise, but yeah, it's, would be nice if there was a little bit more at the end.
That's actually something I wanted to touch on. As far as like
Fun to play though.
how much like forgiveness, because I know we say like all of us have been guilty of saying it's $80, but it's on Game Pass. How much forgiveness do we give a game for being on a service? Because I know I'd give it a little bit. It's like it's $80, but if you pay for Game Pass, you can. It makes it worth it. I know it's weird, right?
I don't
Like,
really
I don't know,
equate
like,
that. I don't like if I ever say that, it's just to tell them like, don't pay the 80, go get it on Game Pass. Not like it's okay
Right.
that it's 80. And I think honestly, the big thing that we really need to be talking about these days is how really what we can all do to stop these pay to play early things. Like I'd say
Yeah.
that's the most frustrating part of all this.
There's $100
it's
to play early.
Like dude. I mean, we're talking about $80 being expensive to play the game. When it was ready and available, you had to pay $100. So how do we make that not happen? Like that's becoming a much bigger issue because it's going to start happening to every single game.
Yeah.
Every single game is going to have a rich person's play date and I don't have as much money I can spend right now person's play date. And that sucks. It sucks. When's it gonna be a third, right? Like when are we gonna have a third edition?
access.
The early bird access for only $50 extra dollars.
In a lot of ways, that's just called beta these days, right? Like,
Some of these games are getting like really excessive too with the early access. Like this one was 2 days, but like there's been ones where it's a week, and like a week is enough for people to beat it and spoil the game for everyone that hasn't had a chance to play yet. Like it's starting to get really bad with these, like they're getting longer and longer, and they want more and more money to play early, and it's just, and they're doing literally no extra work. They're just releasing it early for people that pay more.
yeah.
It's just a shitty practice.
Yeah.
but are we doing it though?
Are we
Like,
paying
I know
more?
I have-
That's the problem. It's the same thing as DLC. And of course we're gonna do it. We're all gonna do it. Most
Yeah.
of the people watching us are gonna do it if they can afford it.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
just, I'm just bitching.
I need everyone
Yeah.
else to have
I
more
wish I had
morals
an
than I do.
answer.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Yeah, no.
I'm of the mindset, and it's a defeatist mindset, but it doesn't matter. The people are gonna buy it. Will never hear us talk about how they shouldn't buy it, and we're
Well, and
also
the-
gonna buy it because we're streamers, and so we're in the business of streaming something as soon as we can, because that's what our quote competitors, colleagues is another word you could say, are all going to do anyways. So we
And the
lose.
unfortunate reality is, I mean, think about how many of these companies, how many of the people there are just to make money. And you're going to walk up to them
Yeah.
and be like, so we could literally add double-digit % to the cost of every project. And what we'd have to do for that is nothing. We have to do nothing but just stagger the release and charge more for it. No. Like who would possibly say
Yep.
no to that if they like making money?
Yeah, that's why I
that's
said it's a
unfortunate.
very defeatist mindset
Yeah.
that I have on it. But
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
my take on it all. Is that like,
And the worst
are gonna
part
do
is
things.
I don't dislike it enough to stop playing video games, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a problem.
yeah,
It's kind of like just
I don't-
microtransactions in general. Like we've been complaining for years now about them adding stores to single player games where you can buy stuff in a single player game. And has it gone away? No, because people buy it and they're going to keep
Mhm.
buying it. And until that stops, they're just going to keep making money doing it, no matter how many times we complain about it.
yeah.
This is just the reality of it. If they keep making money, they're going to keep doing it, no matter how often we complain about it.
Yep. I agree. Sad state of affairs, but you know that horse armor, all those years ago,
Yeah.
really started something special. I guess you could say.
We're just saying Todd started this all. It's his fault.
He's
Freeman
to
says-
blame.
Freeman says, I see no problem in keeping on complaining about it. Well, thank you, man.
You know,
We are happy to provide on your request.
I can't look at someone complaining and be like, you're wrong. It's like, no, you're
Yeah.
completely on point to complain about
It's
that.
the new flavor of shitty monetization.
Yeah.
There will be more.
Yeah.
It will continue
Absolutely.
coming.
Absolutely. That's Doom. We had a good time with it. Doom: The Dark Ages. I think that talking about early access, fully released Thursday night, I think is when that was. Now on Game Pass, I should note it's $70, not $80. I think maybe 80 euros is where that came into play. But it's $69.99 on Steam, at least here in the old US of A.